Silence. When has silence changed the world? When has a life been changed by a voice unheard? And when has the tide of the world been shifted by stagnation? It hasn't. For it is not those who sit idly by and choose not to be heard that we teach about from our history books, but those who recognized a problem and devoted their voice to a solution. President Abraham Lincoln changed his country by speaking out against the enslavement of his fellow man. Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. was the man who led our country through its inequalities, even if it would cost him his life. President George Washington did not sit idly by as a tyrannical oppression permeated through his colonies. These great men were not among those who chose silence. Today, every citizen of the United States has the ability to enact change just as these men of our past. That voice is known as our vote. And our vote stands for those who do not have a voice yet, those who will never receive a voice, and those who fought for our voice. In our world today, democracy thrives. Out of the 192 formally recognized countries across the globe, 123 are democracies. The United States founded this revolution with the establishment of that legendary preamble, "We the people." That preamble ignited revolution in France, Haiti, Serbia, and the 120 other countries across the globe. However, the more important side of this statistic is the 69 countries filled with a population that lacks a voice. People turning the other cheek as a totalitarian dictator ravages their homes, displaces their children, and rules with an iron fist over them. They do not have a voice. And 242 years ago, when our forefathers signed our revolutionary constitution, they signed up for more than creating a country of equal opportunities, equal rights, and equal voice. They signed up to hold that torch of liberty as a beacon of hope in a world full of darkness. Then when those revolutionaries met their grave, they passed the torch of liberty onto their sons, and those sons unto us. I stand here today with pride, knowing that that torch was passed on to me by my grandfathers and their fathers before them. Our voice is our vote, and if we choose to fall silent with so many suffering, then we do not deserve the voice that democracy has blessed us with. In Senator John McCain's Faith of My Fathers, a family memoir, he affirms, "Nothing in life is more liberating than to fight for a cause larger than yourself. Something that encompasses you, but is not defined by your existence alone." 4 years ago, I found my liberating cause, foster care. I've spent countless hours with children in respite care, teaching them, tutoring them, and loving them. However, those children have taught me more than I could ever give them. They taught me the pain of going through that system and what it is like to be constantly uprooted and without a family. I will never forget the moment that 8-year-old boy looked up from his textbook. His innocent hazel eyes looked up into mine, and he called me Dad. When I vote in the next election, it won't be my reflection that stares back at me in the glass of the voting machine, but a pair of beautiful hazel eyes. That boy is not old enough for his voice to be heard, so it is my voice that will speak for him. He, however, is not alone. There are 438,000 foster children on any given day in the American foster care system. These children feel unwanted, unappreciated, and voiceless. These children are why my vote matters, because without me, how would they be heard? Lastly, our votes matter because of the number 657,946. This number is the cornerstone of American history. 657,946 men and women have fallen in the fields of battle since the Revolutionary War, all in the name of democracy. For 242 years, men and women have answered freedom's call so that we may have a voice. They witnessed the rocket's red glare. They witnessed their brothers' bloodshed at Gettysburg. They've experienced the horror of the trenches, the terror in the jungles of Vietnam, and the stinging sands of the Middle East. Our armed forces honorably hold fast against the forces of communism, fascism, and totalitarianism, all so that everyone may have a vote and a voice. As President Ronald Reagan states, freedom is never more than a generation away from extinction. Each generation of United States citizens must learn the power of their voice and their vote. They must be brought face to face with what is to come if they mitigate their right to suffrage. Because without recognizing the extensive sacrifice of those that have fallen in the name of our country, freedom will extinguish. And the revolution that began in 1787 will go down in the flames of complacency. As I draw to a close, I challenge you to act on the silence that plagues our world. Go out, register to vote. Your vote is your voice, and your vote can shift the tide of the world. Your voice can grant a voteless population a voice. Your voice speaks for the 438,000 foster care children across the United States. Your voice is the voice of democracy, and the voice of democracy is how we break the world's neglectful silence. Thank you.